Well, welcome to Yachting Monthly's test of the Discovery 57. So starting as ever at the bow on these very comfortable pulpit seats. Up here we've got a huge double bow roller, so we've got a 40 kilogram spade in the starboard roller, and in the port we've got an optional carbon bowsprit there for flying off wind sails. You've also got on the head of the fitting a big block there which can also be used for agenic attack. Got the twin electric Reckman furlers, also with standard star winch handle manual if the electrics go for any reason. Big Lumar deck windows here with reel, Samson post there. Got a chain locker here for the 100 meters of 12mm chain. And back here, for further deck stowage, is the sail locker. You've got a massive Jenica in there at the moment. There are pin boards to hold all your lines and fenders and that sort of thing. And down at the bottom is a bilge pump with an automatic sensor. So if it does leak for any reason, this is a watertight bulkhead, but the automatic sensor will also get the water out. Well, this one is sometimes called a slutter rig, but it's not very attractive, so Discovery call it a Solent rig. So you've got the Genoa outside and this Solent just right next to it. There's that much gap. It means if you do need to tack the Genoa, then you have to furl it, tack round, then unfurl it. But most of the time, unless you're on a really long passage, this does the job. It's nearly full size and it's a self-tacker as well, so really easy to use. Lovely flush hatches here on this low forward coach roof. Very nice toe rails, really deep. And these stanchions, bulletproof, and there's about the 30mm stub going into the laminate join, and every 150mm, you can see the plugs here, there are bolts fitted, and there's a Crustomer polymer, which is this 100% elastic polymer, which doesn't break but can flex. So the whole deck joint is really bulletproof. This is really nice. I've seen this on a few boats lately, and it does make sense. Just why doesn't everyone do it? It's somewhere to put your halyards, so they're not slapping against the mast. This is a Discovery solution for the double headsail rig for the trade wind sailing. Got two spinnaker poles here, each with the topping lift already fitted. Those are the lines there. And what you do is you wind here, so the inboard end is at the top of the pole up there. That comes down, the topping lift kind of projects it out this way. You fit the sheets in the end. There you go, there's your downwind rig. Get the after guy on, sorted, very solid. And you can do both at the same time, or when you want to reverse it, flip that switch, wind them back up and you're finished. Over here, there's another very tidy way of just avoiding tons and tons of rope swinging around here for the furling sails, which we've got 3 here. They're just on slides, and if you want to tighten them up, there's your line, wrap it around the winch, crank it up. Put the stop back in and you've tightened your halyards. It's very clever, it's very space saving, and we've seen it on a few boats now. These are nice bits of kit. It's called an air-only dorade, unlike most dorades, which can take a bit of water now and then. These have got ping pong balls inside them, so if there's any water there at all, it'll ventilate all the time until there's water there, and these ping pong balls rise and block the tunnel. So you've got an all-weather dorade there. So we've gone to great lengths to make sure the side decks are clear, so you've got the shrouds and the lowers separated here. You've got these flush fillers, we've got water there and diesel there. In here is stowage for dive tanks. They've got a compressor up beneath the forward bunk. They keep their dive tanks there. That's the gas locker in here. Here's a detail I really like. These are custom made for Discovery, as is all the bright work. It's just 2 little switches here. Push those in. There's your boarding ladder, like that. These are really nice, keep you going. I mean, there's not much reason to go forward, but if you had to, there's a very beefy handrail here, and that also comes back. So you've got the Genoa tracks here, again, to keep the side decks clear, and it doesn't harm the sailing angle at all. Very nice long Genoa tracks. And then there's also grab rails here. This used to be a bit further back, but they decided just to open up the cockpit a bit and make it easier to get from this one to this one. So this presents itself as an obvious step into the cockpit. There's nothing on this one because the owner doesn't want his cushions trodden on, but in future there will be some grip strips there, so this obvious step into the cockpit is available. So underway, this is the one you'd use, and you probably wouldn't have your cockpit cushions out. So it's very safe moving aft. We've got this huge extended push pit here. So you've got grab rails there, grab rails here. Walk all the way aft, past this traveller here. Traveller's it's electrically controlled. So there are 2 lines coming down here. You press the button at the helm station, traveller moves up and down. Life raft there, we've got these lovely seats there, which are great for sundowners and, you know, bimbling along in the sun. This is interesting. If you want a barbecue on deck, there's your gas fitting, just plug into that and away you go. Here's one of 2 lazarettes. Very deep, got the heater just in there. There's a step so you can get down neatly, and a few peg and loop stowage items. And again, down at the bottom you can see the bilge pump. This is watertight. There's a sensor in there, so if there's any water, bilge pump flicks on, empties it for you. So at the helm stations, twin wheels, Jeffer steering, which does feel really good for a boat this size. Here is your control panel. This is everything. So we've got the time zero touch here, got the engine management system, got all the GPS information there. There's your autopilot. There's the bow thruster. This runs all the winches apart from the main outhaul, which needs to be done from that utility winch up at the coach roof. And then there's all your lights here, so underwater lights, tricular, motoring, all that sort of thing is all there. So this is quite neat. What we've got here is the owner's decided to have a camera mounted on his mast, which is handy for checking out mooring locations before you decide where to drop your anchor. So there's the camera. You can zoom in, zoom out, and you can have a look around, see what's what. Very clever. So they're not fitted at the moment, but what this boat is going to have as well is a kind of an arch here that you can put solar panels on, and also forms the other end of the bimini. So there'll be poles coming up here, so moving around this area will be much safer. There'll be loads to grab onto, and another pole outside here for moving down the side deck there. So it's going to be very comfortable, and as I say, as well as the wind generator, you're going to have some solar panels there to keep the batteries topped up. Into the cockpit, a step down here. Palatial, we've got this wonderful 4-leaf table, so you can leave one side completely clear, and if you just need some glasses there, then in here you can have your wine locker. That's a watertight drain. It's got a drain at the bottom, so you can fill it with ice, keep your wine cool, entertain your friends. Further forward, we've got these 2 utility winches. So this is the main sheet at the moment. That pretty much stays the main sheet. This one here has got the Stacel, or rather Solent sheet on it. And there's also the main outhaul for when you want to adjust that. So that's the utility winch. There's main in, main out. 1. So here we are, down below. Just pop that back up again. Slide that closed. Love these steps. This is part of Ken Freebolt's design. He designed the interior, and that was a non-negotiable. And it's really quite something. It does it's a real feature in the saloons. Venge wood, laminated Venge, and it's very safe as well as very beautiful. So great grab rails here as well, just to make sure you can get down below safely. And you've also got these over here on this nav table, which is possibly my favourite bit of the boat. Look at this view. Fabulous view, and right round the saloon, so I've got maybe a sort of 270-degree view here. The boat runs Furuno's Navnet Time Zero touchscreen plotter system, which is fabulous. Absolutely love it. Played with it several times. So what else have we got here? We've got, well, there's your touchscreen. This is just a screen, so the black box is down there somewhere. USB cable if you want to do some laptop navigation. There's the Ethernet and the Wi-Fi ports there. Some lighting, so I can turn that to a red light if I want, or turn it off. There's the GPS, Furuno GPS. There's the auto helm and ICOM. Yeah, so this GPS is separate from the rest of the boat. All it links to is these 2 radios. So you've got the VHF on top and the SSB HF frequency down there. Stowage in there, and also There's your Trana sat phone there. Fully communicated up. In terms of stowage, there's some below this seat here, there's more there. There's also a panel, maintenance panel down there beneath this foot panel. But most of the maintenance goes on back here. So this is the utility room, so you've got your washer dryer there. You've also got, so this boat has very comprehensive systems. We'll just open them up here. So it has a 12 volt system, it has a 24 volt system, a 220 system and a 110 because the owners are Americans, so they want to plug in their 110 kit. So it's got the works there. So you've got all these individual breakers here, so if you hit cabin lights here on this panel, then that switches all these off. It's very clever. Everything is automated, but there's also backup for everything as well. Very impressive. And we also have, over here, the engine room. So we've got this lovely tool idea, which I really like, having all the tools right where you need them. There's really good access to everything, so you've got the water maker there, you've got twin fuel filters there, you've got a fuel scrubber there, so you know if you're somewhere where the fuel's not that clean, then you can clean 600 litres in 2 hours. You've got the two water separators there, so there's a generator at the back and they both, there's water separators, so all you get is the exhaust coming out, not the water, so it's much quieter. Nice grab rail there, lovely detail on the back of that as well. You've got your TV out there. Under here is a huge chart drawer. You can fill that with all the charts you need to go around the world and then some. That all fits in there. Got all your domestic batteries under there. Under here is the keel stub, and they've got this system whereby the fuel, because it's quite deep, it's sort of 4 or 5 feet down, you can't reach them. So they're all, the bilge pump for instance is on the end of a pole, which attaches just under the sole. So you lift the sole panel, unscrew the thing, and you pull the bilge pump clear, clean it, put it back. Very neat. This, again, is a fabulous, fabulous place to sit. There's wonderful woodworking here, all heavily varnished, so it's really quite robust. This one, at the owner's request, he's quite an entertainer apparently. So you take this off, press a button over there and the whole thing lowers. So what you've got here is just an enormous double in the saloon. What will be different on the next boat is this is coming forward a bit to kind of avoid this large empty space here. So you'll have a similar grab rail effect to what you have there on this, which will be coming out sort of about to there. So you've got more to grab on. You've got that grab rail there, this here, that there. So it's going to be a bit safer. Under here, you've got the freezer for the galley. The stowage under the rest of that. And you can also get at the stowage in these lockers here and the water management system, which is under there. So if you've ever unstepped a mast, you'll love this. Minimal wiring. So there's your mast section. It's made for them, specifically for them, because they wanted a 2-spreader rig, because it starts getting complicated with 3 spreaders, so they wanted a 2-spreader rig and nobody made one that was quite the right size. So this is cast for them. There's the tie rod, that's to support the Solent self-tacker track. And here, see, this is all the mast wiring. It comes out into this plug. So when you want to unstep the rig, you take the plug out, lift the mast. And that also means that you can test all the systems on the mast while it's on the, you know, horizontal. And you can also test all the systems that relate to the mast, just by plugging in the diagnostics there. Very clever. Not seen that before anyway. So forward, here's the heads. It's not en suite because there are 2 cabins using this one. Got a great window here with the ocean air, Venetian blind there. Got an opening hatch there as well. And there's one of those air-only ping-pong related dorades there. Separate shower cabin here, obviously. Black water tank, the sump tank is there. The stowage behind there, also below the berth. And the lure is over here, it's electric and it's freshwater or saltwater flushing. There's one handle to turn and that switches both heads to either fresh or salt, depending on what you want. There's also a lovely towel right there, so your towels are going to be warm when you get out of the shower. So So this, on most models, this is usually a Pullman berth, so you've got a berth down here and another one up here at this level. However, for this one, they just wanted it different. They wanted a single berth in here, so it's been raised, there's more stowage beneath it, and it's a much wider berth because it's been raised. There is another version where the bed is slightly lower, there's still stowage beneath it, and there's a pipe cot up here. Anyway, you can see it's all rigged for lee cloth, so that's all great. Another huge wardrobe forward, all mirrored up. Very nice cabin. So here's the forward cabin. Again, you've got your ping pong air vent here. Wardrobes either side. We love these. So they've got the ventilation above, and they've got these automatic lights that come on whenever you open the door. So a shelf this side, and it's hanging that side. There's also, beneath this berth, an enormous drawer with a divider to keep things together. And below that is what's being known as the shoe locker at the moment. Along here, this is not usual, this is what the owner requested for this one. This is usually white vinyl, same as this, and the headlining. But they've gone for this kind of silverite extended bolster type arrangement. So you've still got a shelf up there for your phone and watch and that sort of thing. Little shelf here. And that's that. It's got the speakers for the stereo system, so you've got an iPod dock and your AV station in there. It's got the forward hatch, reading lights, and it's fitted with these lee cloth lugs. So this will have 3 lee cloths, 2 at the edges, 1 in the middle. So here on the galley, there's your aircon, there are your heater controls. Got freezer there, which is kind of L-shaped, goes all the way that way. Huge fridge here. These are all Freakomatic, they're built specially for Discovery to match the dimensions of the joinery. Double sink here, through which, and through this hatch you can pass cups of tea up to the helmsman and all that sort of thing. Huge 5-burner GN Espace stove there, which is massive. Great views through there. That's usually a kind of the vinyl and Corian, but the owner specified teak on this one. 3 opening hatches plus the extractor hood there, so you're not going to struggle with smells. Got the double sink here. Another request from the owner was this, I think it's called a dump sink, which is so you do your washing up, pop it in there to dry. It's a great idea if you've got the space. And this chopping board sits neatly in there. Stowage is really nice, with fiddles on top and bars on the bottom. And you've also, you see the quality of it there, that's just solid wood, there's no ply there. Soft close, very nice. So microwave here is also standard, and more stowage down here, plus under the sole. So here's the owner's suite aft. Fabulously bright. They're also talking about putting a window in the transom there, so you can see further back. It's almost a metre that you can just brighten the place up even more, even though you've got 4 opening hatches and another 2 hull ports and a coach roof light. TV here. This is really nice. You've got this kind of ottoman here. An adjustable mirror, so you can kind of check yourself out. Very good vanity lighting everywhere as well. Small lockers under there, which is probably going to have some sort of shelving in. Now onto the maintenance nature of this boat. So under here you've got a special shaft seal that you can put a replacement seal in. So if your shaft, if this shaft starts leaking for some reason, then you can pack in an extra seal and bolt it on without pulling the shaft. So it just keeps you going. It's as good as new. So this ottoman, which uses the vanity table there, you can remove that. Some stowage under there. There's also stowage under these panels. You might also notice this numbering here, and that's so that if you break a panel, then you can get it replaced. Just ring them up, tell them you need a 2510502, and out it'll come. Drawers here again under the berth. There's tons of stowage. Look around, and everything is either a locker or a wardrobe. Also, the head of the berth there, in the after deck was the aperture for the emergency steering tiller, which goes through that aperture. You take out the middle bar of the bookshelf there, pull out the panel underneath it, and that's the top of the rudder stock, so it just links on there. That's your emergency steering. So here we are on the owner's ensuite. Got one opening hatch there, we've got another one here above the shower room. There's a whole port here that will have a blind. This is Avonite, I think they call it, which is rather flash. This isn't standard, this is a hammered nickel sink. That was the owner's request. So some stowage beneath, towel rail here as standard. There's more stowage out here with a shaver point. There's the loo, again with the freshwater flushing. Nice detail here, the loo brush to secrete it behind, and also, so you don't soak it, loo roll in there. Here's the shower room. Again with these closing doors, they will be a bit lower, so the water doesn't get out in quite such great quantities into the main head. There's your shower head there, controls there, and a hanging rail there for your oilies. Our test of the Discovery 57 was a two-parter. We started first by wiping snow off the spray hood and then went out and found 30 to 40 knots from the northeast with top gusts of 55 knots, force 10, which was too rough for photography but no problem at all for the big disco. We've been reached with less than half the main and 4 rolls in solo jib, logging 8.8 to 10.3 knots and 30 to 35 knots of apparent wind. Then the wind built, so we rolled away the main and broad reached under reef jib at 120 to 130 degrees to the 22 to 38 knots of apparent wind, making 8.2 to 9.3 knots of surfs over 13 knots. Great fun, this boat totally tamed gales. The second time we had 15 to 25 northwesterly, and with 4 rolls in the main and Solent, she made 6.7 to 9.9 knots upwind at 35 degrees to 20 to 29 knots of apparent wind, tacking through 100. Pinching in gusts, we squeezed up to 25 to 30 to the 30 knots of apparent wind, and logging 7.5 knots. Under the same rig, she made 7.2 to 7.9 knots, fetching into 17 to 21 knots of apparent wind. Then we rolled out the full main, felled the Solent, and put 4 rolls in the Genoa to log 8.7 to 9.9 knots in 18 to 25 knots on a fetch. We beam reached at 7.8 to 9.2 knots with 15 to 20 knots over the rail, then rolled away the main and unfurled the rest of the Genoa to log 8.8 to 9.5 knots, deep downwind in 9 to 13 knots of apparent wind. She's a remarkable performer. Obviously, if she's your boat, you're going to have a fair bit of money, but she's ready to go around the world. She's so easy to single hand. You don't need years and years of experience to sail her. You can do everything one-handed on your own, and she can go anywhere, absolutely anywhere. She can cross oceans, she'll take you around the world. She's just that kind of boat. She's exquisitely put together, and I know the Discovery team does go to significant lengths to make sure that their owners are looked after wherever in the world they are. Not that you need it with this boat, because there's so much redundancy built in. It's built on the experience of previous Discovery owners and liveaboarders generally. So they know all the problems that usually happen, and they've found a way around them. It's a lot of money, but it's a remarkable boat.